Hey guys, this is Disc Golf David. I'm here with Jake McCoy.
PDGA number 33905.
He's like half my PDGA number. This is ridiculous.
I
So,
started PDGA 10 years old.
so how old were you when you started? Like when you first started throwing?
So the thing about it was my dad started in 1995. So I was born in 1995. So the year I was born was actually the year he started. So then early 2000s, I think he was sponsored pro. And then I just grew up playing baseball, basketball, football. So that took all the time out. But I mean, I still had a basket in the backyard, went through. I mean, he played pretty much every day. So, I mean, I just grew up with it in my life. And then about like 10 years old is when I started playing the PDGA tournaments. But by then I'd already been playing probably 2 years, like
Were there
consistently.
were there juniors events back then, or were you just jumping into amateurs
So
and intermediates?
so there was junior events. I mean, like my first two PDGA tournaments, I think I just played in a junior event by myself, and then eventually I went up to rec. The thing about it was I grew up in North Carolina, and the only other 12-year-old was David Wiggins. So yeah, he was already playing advanced by the time that I actually started playing PDGA tournaments.
So David, so you played junior tournaments against David Wiggins.
No, I never played a junior tournament against David because
Okay.
by then, by the time I started, he was I think only a year older than me, but had already was an advanced player.
So I'm gonna hit the heart a little bit right now. You just had a kid, didn't you? So you're
Just
like
had a kid in
you're
February.
you're a new dad. How's that feeling?
Uh, I mean, it's the best thing in the world. Definitely took a little bit of time out of the disc golf as he's newborn and just kind of a little bit more hands on, and now he's starting to walk and everything. So I expect just as I grew up, he'll be out at the course, hanging out
So
with me while I play my rounds.
so you got any minis throwing us some little miniature
Nah,
baskets
dude,
around the
his
house yet?
so it's funny, like, when I first got some of the proto DD3s was about the time that he started teething. And I just put some on like the floor and just like went to get to the kitchen, grabbed the water and came back. And by then, like he started using it as a teether. So
That
he always had like he used disc as some teethers. So it was pretty funny.
sounds like it's in his blood already. Literally,
He's yeah.
it's going through his system currently right now.
Yeah. Right now he loves golf balls though, right now. That like he'll grab two and bang them together, and that spends
So you
most of his
bounce
time
him off
really
the
doing
floor and
that.
stuff.
Yeah, and rolls them and then like kicks them under the couch and makes me have to get under there and get a ball. Throw a little pit. He's like trying to reach it, and I'm like, I don't even know. No, let me grab that.
So I was looking at a picture of your kid recently, and I looked at Kirsten, and I was just kind of joking with her. I was like, if Jake says that's not his kid, someone needs to slap him because he looks
So
exactly like you.
I'll email you over a photo. Maybe you can clip it and but it's literally a picture of me as a baby and him as a baby, and it's pretty identical. But he also looks a lot like his mom. I mean, there's no doubt of that either. But yeah, I mean, he looks a lot. Definitely has a resemblance.
All right, so coming up, you've been playing disc golf for quite a while. When you first started throwing, like as a young kid, what was your go-to disc? Like when you were a young kid, and how did you like to throw it? Were you a backhand thrower or a forehand thrower? I know kids at a young age, they could go either way, kind of.
Yeah. I don't think I developed a backhand until I was 16. So I was strictly sidearms. Um, so the disc that I got early 2000s, I had sea leopard. This just off the top of my head. When I was that age, I had a little blue gateway pouch bag, and I carried around sea leopard. I think JLS. Um, they had these FX demons, like the DX hard plastic demons for the mid range. I putted with a wizard and the proto edge, which in later ended up becoming the Speed Demon was my distance driver for sidearm as a kid, and that was like a 162 disc.
So like 162 grams.
Mm-hmm. Like any disc that my dad could give me lightweight, he gave me lightweight growing up.
Well, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now,
but back then you didn't have as much availability as the lightweight disc that they're coming out with now. So it's
no, you don't.
like when you basically had two plastic types when I started, and you had Pro and DX, and then they started making the C stuff.
So like what brand did you throw a lot younger? Like what brand have you always kind of just drawn?
So I came into
it?
brands. So I came into brands. So like, I'm North Carolina and of the country. You threw your Innova, your Destroyers, your Race, Rocks, AVRs.
Shout out to the Dominator, underrated.
I used to have a G-Star Thunder or G-Star Dominator. It was pretty pop up flat on the sidearm. Was all I threw it for. Yeah. I can't throw a tomahawk. Maybe you can teach me.
My favorite thing is to walk up to a tee and then just look up and be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna throw a tomahawk."
Thumbers,
or just same way.
Or I got this anti-shot that goes like straight up and straight back down.
I imagine you have a grenade at this point.
Yeah, there was a guy out at Cedar Rock who always threw funny stuff, Scoobies and grenades, and he taught me how to throw one.
His name wasn't Jeremy, was it?
No.
He wasn't throwing pterodactyls.
Oh, you're Colin. That's funny. We were talking about that, like, when I first started playing, he was in advance. So as I've known Germ for like 15 years.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So how old are you now?
26.
So you've been playing competitive golf for 15 years, 16 years, somewhere in that time?
Yep. Yeah. Long time.
How long have you been playing pro? Just like when you decided to go from advanced straight to pro?
I think I moved up division. Like my dad was always like, "Oh, you win a tournament, you move up to your next division." So
I can see that.
Yeah. And so, I was probably 15, 16 playing unsanctioned as pro unsanctioned. I think I was 17. And when I started to play pro, and I think I just signed up for the Sneaky Pete, which was a local tournament that year for pro, because it was on a ball golf course. So it was wide open. It was Cedar Rock, which is another wide open long course. So we went and played those two. So I was like, I'll have a good chance of placing well. And I think I was in last place after the first round. And then I finished third. And it was like, my dad calls me. He's like, because I think I went to work. I finished the tournament and I had to go bust tables. So, that was the only bad thing about that tournament is I went to the diner and had to work Sunday night because that was our busy night and I had to bust tables. And
so you had no
I get
clue
a text
that
message.
You made a massive comeback. You just
well, no, I knew I played well.
Okay.
Knew I played well, but the thing was, it was like a couple other guys were up there. It was like Barry, a local guy named Alex Wells, Lance Brown, I think, and a few other guys. They were ahead of me. Like I said, I started off, I was in last after the first round, and I worked my way up. In the last round, I just played just steady off, and I looked up and I get a text message from my dad. He says, "You took third and turned pro," and I was at work. I was like, "That's my dad's decision."
Were you like sneaking your phone in the corner, like?
Oh no, they were, like I said, it was the local diner, so relaxed, bro. I was just phone right there at the counter, just texting. And the boss man played disc golf, so I was like, "Look, dude, I cashed today," and I just went pro. So that was the story. I mean, it was my dad's like text me and was like, "Hey, you finished third." So I when I left, I didn't know where I was, but I knew I had done well to get cash. I knew I was cashing
Okay,
in the
wow.
event,
So
but
you
I didn't know
knew.
what spot. But I ended up making podium.
So are you currently sponsored by anybody?
So this will be the 4th year that I'm with Discmania. I played in the combine, finished first in the combine that JPO got over here, and it was at Jones Park
Jones
in
Park?
Cary. And so I ended up finishing first on that one, and then teamed up with them, and pretty much have been excited about joining them every year since. And then also this year, I'm working with a local retail store, Redemption Disc Golf, and
Oh,
RDG right here on the hat. Check the brim. So I'm working with them, and so hopefully, get some more revenue in to help support the disc golf scene for me this year.
shout out Cattle Nation, helping this
Yeah.
guy. Just for no reason whatsoever, Circles Edge Disc Golf local apparel company. You should check them out.
Robbie O.
Yes, sir. So with gaining the sponsorship, have you done any like big A tiers national tour possible events?
Let's see. I've lacked on this, honestly. Just the travel and the time. Working a full-time trade job. I work as a heat and air technician, so most of my time spent summertime is usually when those big tournaments come around the area, the A tiers and stuff. So I've really lacked on like getting out to those, just because, work, family, house, stuff like that comes first. And then
Look,
it's like, I'm still able to go out and do what I need to do.
my
And
AC went out twice
promote.
this year, and it was on a Friday both times. So I completely understand here, Saturday, Sundays is tough for you to get out.
Like it's either hot or cold here.
Oh,
Get a
what was
little
it?
both.
December 31st, it was 70 degrees. 4 days later, we had 5 inches of snow. It was 30 degrees.
Did y'all get 5 inches up there?
Man, if it was cold, like if it had been
Yeah.
cold the day before,
I mean, it was 65
we
the day
probably
before.
got 5,
snowing.
6 inches of snow, but like only one kind of stuck because it was 70 degrees the day before.
Yeah.
So
So it
nothing
started
really
to
stuck.
stick. It started to stick, and then it gave us a little dusting, but within an hour, like I said, it was 40 degrees, so it ended up melting where I'm at. It melted
Yeah.
all.
Once it stopped snowing at like 2 o'clock and the sun kind of poked its head out, yeah, everything melted. But for a while there, like my boss came up, he was like, "This keeps going." And I was like, "Get out of here. Let's go." No, but I was looking at the weather. I knew it wasn't gonna last.
That weather makes me work a lot harder. A lot more calls, a lot more stuff breaking down, a lot of things to do for me on my agenda.
We were concerned our heater wasn't working, but then we realized one of our windows was still cracked.
It was still open.
Yeah.
Kind of got a little drafty, huh?
A little drafty. Yeah. I was like, why is it not? I was like, it's not going below 68. I don't understand what's happening. It's supposed to be at 70, but it's at 68. Yeah, it was not a good situation. So you're throwing Discmania. What like is your whole bag Discmania?
It has to be.
It
And
has
it
to be. So that is that in
Yeah.
your contract?
Yeah, it's all Discmania. I think the year that I joined was the year that Discmania started getting the Latitude plastic, and so that made it in our contract on that, like you couldn't throw Innova. It was only Discmania stamped discs.
Hasn't Discmania kind of like split from Innova? Like they're
Completely.
their own thing now.
Yeah, and we're still partnered with Latitude. So we do have the Evolution line. We also have the Yukon disc line, which is the active, which is the Chinese plastic. And then we have the Sweden plastic, which is coming from Italy.
What is it
And that's
Discmania or
just
is it
that's
does it have a different
Discmania.
name? Okay, okay.
Yeah, that one's the Discmania. They're calling it the original lines.
So I saw this earlier today, and I want to ask. I saw where Innova said they retooled a run, and it is basically one of the old Discmania runs. And
I
they're
think
gonna
they're
start.
calling it it was something like on the lines. Kind of got a drift of it. Like, it was the FD. They're calling it a fairway driver, and it's
It
the
was like
FD.
that. Was it the FD2 or something like that? They retooled.
And
They said they
I
retooled and they're coming out
I
with
think
again.
they retooled the FD,
Okay.
which is actually one of I've had at one point 4 FDs in my bag. Like, you know,
Well, what do you have in your
but
bag? I see it. It's
yeah, it's
right
right here.
there.
This is just like a smaller bag. I've got it slam full because I did just get back from Tupelo Bay, which is a ball golf course that has a stellar 18-hole Tipperary course thrown on it for a weekend, and then we play a little nine. They're 9 permanent holes, which is a little bit shorter, all par threes. But just got back from there, so like I just stuffed a bunch of drivers and everything in it.
How'd you finish it? The Bay.
So I finished third. Yep, Big Germ finished first, and um, yeah, I finished third. So I think there was 16 people, something around there.
16 and pro.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey
it's
guys, hey
good
guys,
field.
everyone out there, move up to pro. Start cashing. Stop playing amateur. Come on.
Just make your dad do the decision for you.
Hey, look, I moved up to
It's a
pro.
lot easier.
You know, when I show up to pro and there's 13 pros playing, there are really 12 pros playing, and this guy.
This
But
guy.
I have the most fun though. That's all that counts.
I mean, that's always a good thing. That's what it's made for, right?
Other than that,
So
if you're not throwing some frisbees in the woods and not having fun, then you should just stop throwing your frisbees in the woods.
So this is the new DD3, and these actually, and then the new MD4 or MD3. So these are actually really good discs, and this one's got a little bit more bite, like on the overstability, than the original Innova run MD3s. So they match up to my, because I only threw MD4s, so they kind of match up a little bit better on that with the finish at the end. But I've got some. I always like having a cool stamp. Like this was the April Jewels. This is the PD2 with the MD3 claw on it.
Like
Did you
that.
lose me?
I like that color too. Is that 160 or is that max weight?
This is max weight. But yeah, it's max weight in a PD2, and it's like something like I can just get on with all my power and know it's not gonna go flipping over. So it's like big.
Like you put nice S turns on it.
Yeah, so when I first got it, I used to could throw it with Big Annie and flex it out. Now I'm kind of letting it. I'm throwing it pretty flat to turn it and kind of flex out, or I can pop it up straight and it kind of rides and then finishes. So it's working out well in the bag. Definitely one of the more reliable molds that I've come across in disc golf.
So what are you putting with?
So so I've always put it with P2s. I love these P2s. These are like the most comfortable feeling disc I've had in my hands. Putting has been definitely a lot better since these come into my life. But this off season, I was in my backyard and I got a shipment of these Logics, and these Logics
I've heard of those
feel
recently.
really good. Like I got the soft EXO, and these are tacky. They're thin. They're kind of sharp. Like they fit in the hand pretty well. I just want to beat them in a little bit because it's like right when it gets to the pole, it just wants to go hyzer out. And so I'm missing a little bit more right now with the left. where those P2s were just beat in, so they just kind of floated straight. So I just need to beat these in a little bit, and I feel like I'll probably make the full switch. But I played one round with them. It was the front 9 I shot 1 down, and then the back 9 I shot 8 down. So it was like I just had to get comfortable and kind of see how they flew.
You just had to figure it out a little bit.
Yeah, but when I'm messing in the backyard, they're flying pretty well. So everybody said, people on the team say they're really good throwers. Probably the hard ones. I'm not sure. I haven't thrown these yet, but I always love throwing the P2s. And then, like, I've had, of course, you got to have like the old reliable. This is the Imperial Eagle 2, and I've had two of these. One's still brand new in the box, but I broke this thing out, and I won my first Discmania sponsored tournament with this one. And I mean, like, I threw it off the tee on like over 50% of the shots and up shots and putts with it. Like, I probably used it 75% of the tournament.
So your bag was just an accessory that tournament. You were just.
And honestly, it was, because it was at Ashe County. Have you played Ashe County?
I'm getting out there this year.
Jefferson Park.
I'm getting out there this year. I got some friends. I call them the mountain guys. There's a course called Heritage out there, and they were kind of locals to that, and they've been telling me about Ashe County. And me and my wife actually said we're getting out to Ashe County this year, because I've heard it's the best or second best course in the entire state. So I want to get out there. Plus, we're always up in Boone. So
yeah, I found the short course is a good course, but if you're gonna go to see like a real, like, I mean, championship caliber course, the longs was like very, very much had the teeth to get you. I mean, with just the elevation change, the rollaway hills, they got some sick gauntlet hit shots. It's like the basket's 20 feet below your feet, and it's just dead straight 300 feet. Like, it's insane. And then like there's baskets where you're putting, and then right off of it is just like 30 feet drop, 5-10 feet away from the basket.
That's
and then I mean, you're on.
That's the one I've heard about. That's the one I'm looking forward to go playing. They were like,
it's cool. It's got a couple of valley shots
you don't like.
Yeah. Well, no, not even that. I mean, I don't think you're going to lose anything on that course. It wasn't like that. And it's not like that. It's throw something that is going to go straight. I threw a lot of straight shots that weekend with a putter, and that was what scored.
So you said you went pro, 4 years ago?
No.
Was it longer than that?
10 years ago.
Well, no. I'm sorry. You got your sponsorship 4 years ago, correct?
Sponsorship 4 years. And then this is the first year I'm rocking RDG.
So I know you have a younger brother. He's fairly decent to disc golf. If you have someone silky, very silky. But if you have someone his age come up to you and you're like, hey man, I want to get sponsored. I want to play disc golf professionally. Like, what advice would you give them?
I mean, there's a couple ways now that you can get sponsored. You can be a social media addict and just posting, just boosting, promoting, doing what you can to build your name, and just like publicity for the other company that you get with. Growing up, like, to get sponsored, and when I was coming up, you had to be good. Yep. I mean, that was your only way. Like,
player sponsorship.
Your amateur players didn't get sponsored. Now it's like you just gotta promote. You gotta do, a lot of tournaments, a lot of social media, trying to develop a name.
Now you have ambassador sponsorships, you have tournament director sponsorships, you have player sponsorships. You have guys getting sponsored with player rankings as low as 850.
I mean, probably lower.
I mean, you can get sponsored just by doing things.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a positive influence in the community of disc golf will get you to what you want for other people to be like, hey, this is this is a guy that we really like, and we want to have him a part of the team, and we think that he can build it. So I mean, obviously there's multiple ways. So if it was me, if you're just new to the game, you have that drive and you want to just record it, put it out there, tell people what you're doing. That's the way to do it. Now it seems like it doesn't matter how you're doing in tournaments. It just matters that you're promoting a positive image on the sport.
You're based out of, where do you live now?
I'm
You're
Burlington, North Carolina.
You're still in
Graham.
Burlington? Okay. I didn't know if you,
Yeah.
so, I know what course you play on the regular, but what's your favorite course to play currently right now? Or what's your home course? That's a better question.
Home course, Deep Creek Dreams.
The Nightmares hate my soul.
Dude, I love that. That's like the Nightmares was made for me.
Yeah, Deep Creek is I love the Dreams. They're great. They're a great course. I'm terrified.
Look, it might say Dreams, but even the Dreams can be a nightmare.
Oh no, they can.
It's crazy the range of rounds that I've shot on that course, but I've also grown up on that course.
Now, that's your home course. What's a course that you may have played, you may not have played, and it's your favorite course? It's your dream course.
Deep Creek Dreams Nightmares.
I can believe that too.
I play this home. I just love it, man. Honestly.
Hole 1 is so beautiful.
So a course that I've always wanted to play. Oh, did you see that new one that Dave McCormick designed?
I haven't.
Is it Eagles Crossing? It's that one where they did that skins match, and you have to. It's like Eagle was a part of the skins match. Simon was a part of it. I think this is right when Simon came back from his elbow injury.
I've probably seen this. I can't recall it in my head.
Man, you really, I'm not even going to spoil it for you, but
I'm going to go back and watch it. Don't spoil. I'm going to go back and watch it.
All I'm going to say to you is this: what the game could be with money. You throw a lot of money at something, you do something. I mean, and it can be done. But just having the right equipment, I think this course was built with bulldozers and tractors and dump trucks.
Did this course have a railroad crossing sign on it that worked? You hit a motion sensor and the railroad thing went off and it made noise.
No, so I don't think so. I'm maybe wrong. I'm not 100% sure.
Was this whole course just really, really long? There was one where the basket was on a 10 tier.
Yeah, that course.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes, yes. Oh my God, dude. I was watching them throw that course and I was like, my arm and back hurts, but this course just looked like it was one of the wasn't it an owner of a disc company that made the course?
Yeah, Dave McCormick. He owns Gateway.
Yes.
Yes. He designed it.
Dude, it was like if someone gave me 100 acres and 4 ponds, I would be like, all right, I hope you guys like throwing 600 feet.
I mean,
I know it was a beautiful course. I love how he played with the hills. There was a couple baskets where it was if I'm not mistaken, you crest the hill and then the basket's just down.
Yeah, a lot of elevation changes, a lot of landscaping design.
It was, yeah. I remember that one. I remember the railroad sign though the most because they were walking.
I'll have to check that out.
They were walking down a set of stairs and it went off and they were like, "Oh, what is this?" He's like, "Yeah, it's the railroad crossing." This one was a tunnel shot, and then it was.
Did they tee up on the top of the hill?
It had a hard backhand, right hand.
I think I know which. I think I remember it now.
That railroad that just stuck in my mind. That's funny. Yeah. So yeah, I remember that.
That would be probably a top course that I would want to play. I would love to get out and play some golf out on the West Coast. Um, I think
That's
it's like
tailored. That's tailored for your style. I know your style. You're a
just
bomb.
find a crazy line and hit it.
You're more than a bomber, but you are a bomber. You
Yeah,
got a big arm.
it helps.
It does.
It helps.
Kaboom! Boom! Out of all the time you've playing golf, what's your favorite disc? Your absolute favorite disc, even if it's not in your bag, because you can't
It's in
throw
my
it
bag.
anymore. Oh, it's in your bag
It's
still?
in my bag. Maybe it's not. It might be in my car. Oh no, here it is.
I was like, is it in your real bag? Cloud
It's a
Breaker.
Cloud Breaker. I got like 9 of these things brand new, still sitting in the closet.
So I haven't thrown one. What is a Cloud Breaker essentially?
Speed 12 distance driver. This one's a little bit, the yellow one I was showing you
Yeah.
it's pretty good to where that one's a little bit more overstable. This one's gonna flex. I can do a little bit more with it.
That one's a little more beat in.
Yeah, but even brand new, it's not as stable as the other one. So you're able to turn it over and manipulate it. Is it no, it's just the design. Like the disc.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if it was the plastic.
The plastic's just the star, the S line. There's a little swirly one.
So that's is it a more stable high speed driver?
Yeah. I mean, Eagle probably flips them over pretty quickly. But no, they have a lot of bite at the end. I like to flip them up get the full flight out of it. I mean, this one's literally the first one I threw, and it's been in my bag since the month they came out.
So what you're saying
ordered it, shipped it, got it in my bag.
If I throw a forehand with that disc, essentially it's going to become a forehand roller because
I
got a cannon on this right arm, No. Okay. All right.
I mean, unless you throw worm burners, it's like. But no, I mean it's actually my longest throwing sidearm and backhand disc because of the fact that it's got great glide. It just you can do a little bit more with it because you can get better angles. You can do a lot more because you can still ante it and it'll flex out as long as you don't put too much spin, or you can just hyzer, pop, turn over, flex. Is that your puppy?
Yeah, he's trying to get in here.
Trying to get some daddy, some love.
What's up? It's my little guy. Go get mama. There you go.
But hands down, probably the best disc in the whole world. Like Cloud Breaker, first run.
What's
the original tablet.
Isn't it 60 feet? Or is it 66?
I don't know, man.
Because at that point, you give
it's out. Yeah,
dude. I was explaining this.
Good to go.
I was explaining this to someone the other day. They were like, "Oh, so disc golf's all in feet." I was like, "Yeah, when you put them on the tee pads and everything's in feet." They were like, "Okay, so it's all American." I was like, "No. When you're inside circle 1, you're only 10 meters though." And they were like, "That doesn't make any sense." I was like,
"Makes no sense."
Oh, when you're out of bounds, take 1 meter relief.
1 meter relief.
1 meter. Nothing's in feet. It's the silliest thing, but it's so good. Yeah, so I just got my I renewed my PDGA and I renewed my referees thing. Official
your certification.
Yeah, I got my official
certification.
And I retook the test, and there was 2 questions on it. I can't remember what they were, but I just I read the questions twice, and I just looked at it, and I was like, where is the dude that just does because the question was the question answered itself, and I was like, what do you want me to say? I'm like, none of your answers are good. I'm gonna miss this
The
question.
questions are
The question answered itself.
questionable. The questions are questionable.
And then some of them were
And
from
then
the
you get
same
out in the
officials
field.
exam I took 4 years ago.
There, look, I played in the A tier. I had to be an official. It had to be current. Nobody knew the rules, man. And I was
Doesn't
just
surprise.
like, I'm like, how I was like having to do rulings, right? And they're like, oh, like how do you know that? And I'm like, the rule book. I've read it for the last 15 years. Like, you kind of.
So have you seen the newest rule on making a basket?
They redid it where if you
They
jam it
re
in, right? Let's
all
go,
right.
cage jammers.
All right. So last year, or it was either the year before last, I remember they changed the rule and it was like if it goes into the playing area and
Yeah,
comes to
which would be
rest,
above the cage.
oh,
If
yeah,
you
it
were,
has to enter the chain area. And it comes to
yeah,
rest on the basket, it's in. And I was like, for the longest time, I told this scenario to people, and they were like, no, I don't accept that as fact. I was like, all right, so my disc goes straight through the chains, and it's windy out, and it goes out the backside. And this basket just seems to be placed higher or the ground has eroded. So the disc is coming down, the wind blows it back, and it sits on the lock collar, and it stays there. That's a
that's in.
basket. That's it. And they were like, I refuse to believe that's a thing. And I was like, sir, according to the way that rule was written, that is a basket.
Well, it's like, okay, the rule about jump putt or inside the circle, it says you have to maintain balance. And somewhere in the disc golf community, it has come to you must remain balanced until your disc comes to rest. And it's not in the rule book.
It's like your disc has to
It's
come to
not in the rule
rest in
book.
the basket and not stop moving. And if you move before that, so that's not in the rule book. Because that's the way I
No,
interpret
it's
it too.
not.
And I
So, like,
understand exactly what you're saying.
if you throw the putt and you're, I don't know how to explain it, but like you don't fall, like you stand up for a couple seconds, show a little bit of balance for 2 seconds, and then before your disc comes to rest, you finally let your body come past the line. I guess that would be good as long as you show maintain balance. But it looks like when the interpretation in the whole disc golf community is the disc must come to rest. And I'm like, it's not in the book.
So yeah, now can jammers can get aces.
I love cam jamming.
I've had a
Actually,
couple I would have
I
had a
don't have
couple
putters to
aces.
do it.
I would have had a couple. I know I've had two just high speed drivers just hit a cage and just and it stuck in
I've
there.
never had it.
But
I've
we
never
saw
had
it.
it stuck.
Like it
So
was a
now if
basket
you
you could
like
see.
you stick it, if you stick it off the drive, you gotta run real quick now. Because what happens if it sticks
If
and
it
then by
falls
the
out,
time you get, that's what I'm
doesn't
saying.
count.
As
Doesn't
long,
count. Well,
yeah, exactly.
technically you have to clear the basket though.
Yeah, but in the time that you throw it and then you have to go retrieve it, you have like, when does it consider it an ace? Is it because it came to rest for 3 seconds? Like now we got to deal with this. Like when is it considered an ace? What if the
So
guy was running to go get it out of the basket and him stomping his feet or something caused it to shake and then it fell out? So it's not ace
but
anymore.
now the funniest thing to me is if it lands on top, it still doesn't count.
I agree with that.
It's kind of weird. It's like, all right, so coming in too low
I
doesn't
don't.
count. But then now if you land on top, it doesn't count.
I don't
And
think the cage. I don't think coming into the cage should count.
I
I think that
agree.
what that takes away though is the, like, you throw a blind shot, you come up there, you didn't see it, but it did go through. And it takes away that. Now it's like, all right, if it's in the cage or if it's in the basket in the bottom, it's just good. I think that's kind of maybe why they decided to change it. But I think the intended design was to get caught by those chains. It's that hit that spot, but and then come to rest inside the basket.
It's a beautiful sound. So
yes, they should outlaw the end of a disc catcher. Just
Ow.
because of the band,
Ow.
the noise of the band. Hey, boom.
I was talking to my wife about that. I was telling her about a tournament that I played in that just like came to mind. And I made like a 60, 70 footer. And I just kind of I cleared the basket and I just kind of turned around and stood beside him. And I just wasn't paying attention because I was like, he's got it. It's like a 10 footer. And it's that noise. Donk. And I was like,
You hate it for them.
I was like, no.
You hate it.
It's a terrible sound. It's like the disc catcher sports too. It's just a little bit. It's like pink.
Yeah, it's got that ting when you hit the little round over nub that holds the first chain.
I got several of those out here, and that's the noise they make. It hurts my feelings.
It makes you want to take up regular golf.
Got it. How about you, bro? Yeah, let's go.
So when you get to select the disc that you throw, what color do you prefer to throw? Or do you not really have a particular favorite color? You just
No, I mean, if you look at my bag, I have disc of every color. It's a rainbow. The only thing we're not throwing around here is that Carolina blue, because Carolina blue makes you dumb.
I heard it goes further though.
It might.
You got any of that bright red?
2 bogeys.
You got
bright red?
Bright red?
I have no problem with red. Carolina blue is the issue.
So you're fine throwing a state disc out there?
Yeah, I'll throw state.
That's right.
I understand state. They hate Carolina. Duke hates Carolina. Let's go.
Man, it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
It is.
In all of the tournaments you've played, what's that one tournament that you won and it's the one you still think back to? You're like, yeah, I got that one.
So I won a tournament, but I won 2 tournaments inside of 1 tournament. All right.
Yeah,
so I played. That's it. That's the interview.
No.
In 2014, I played the Sandhills Invitational, which is also the rating qualifier for the USDGC weekend, and I won the tournament in advance. And I shot I think I averaged 10-14, and my rating at that time was 940.
You just played your mind out.
930, yeah. I mean, it was just it was on a golf course. It was literally we're down in Pinehurst. It was Pinehurst. Yeah, and I threw 600 feet. So it was just there was there was OBs and stuff like that, but it was you throw 600 feet, you're getting there on all the par 5s into your eagle. But also that weekend, it was one of those weekends where I would throw up a putt for a layup and just kind of float it and it would go in.
Okay.
Everything was just had a couple. Out. It was crazy, the vibe, because then it was because that was the start of the family vacation. Me and my dad went to Pinehurst, stayed there the weekend, played the tournament, and then we went down to our typical family beach trip. But also, it was a really good weekend, fun time. It's one of the best events. I wish Chuck would bring it back. And then I qualified for the USDGC. The rating adjusted USDGC. So that was pretty cool.
So you got to play USDGC one year.
Yeah. Yep. I did. It was
as an amateur. Did you play? Did you go? Were you playing against the pros?
So Paige Pierce won that year on the performance, I think. So it was off your rating and stuff.
Okay.
And I played, I think the first round I came out and lost my best driver on hole 5. So it was Yeah, and like I just didn't play well that whole first round. Actually put me on a card with Dave Dunapace. And me and Dave played the next 3 rounds together. So out of the whole tournament, I played the first round and got me with Dave Dunapace, and we played the rest of the tournament that weekend together. And it was a great time. But yeah, actually like I was playing bad, and then my dad came and he caddied for me and just made a lot of the decisions a lot easier. I took them out of my hands, and he just basically, hey, throw this disc there. Okay. Instead of me trying to push a disc further and trying to throw something flippy in a headwind.
Trying to be far too aggressive, where he's just like, no, throw it there and make the putt.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was like I was going for eagles and getting doubles. Like, you just can't. You got to be, well, I mean, that's the course that it happens. You know, it's one mistake, you're 350 feet and back. And
since we're talking about the USDGC, what do you think about all the green posts they put everywhere this year?
Hey, I mean, mozzarella sticks, man. They're good at Arby's. I'm not sure how good they are at the USDGC. You want to build, I don't know. It's like I said, you want to go see what you can do with disc golf. Look at that course that we talked about earlier. You can build 10-tier greens. You can do stuff.
Yeah. That course is amazing. It's
funny, I'm not sure what
you're talking about, the one with the railroad thing on. I think it was like a whole 3. That course.
Yeah, that one shows you what you can do with disc golf, and then there's nothing wrong with what, you know, adding a little bit of challenge to the greens at USDGC. I understand they're kind of limited to what they can do being on the university, so you know they can make it difficult by adding those things on it. So it's, you know, it's a challenge, but I mean, USDGC is what USDGC is. It's ropes, it's water, it's wind, it's long. It's, you know, just a different breed of disc golf. It's not just throw and launch. Sometimes you can watch those guys like Nate Sexton who throw in 450 and destroying the course because he never went out of bounds and he made all his putts. Like,
it looks really easy on camera. Like when you're watching it, I'll be honest, it looks really, dude, really like, easy. Oh, you're like, I want to go out there and shred it. And I went out there, and by hole 13, I was like, I hate all of this. My arm hurts, and I got like 6 holes left to throw.
Oh, yeah. They get you going. The first like 3 holes aren't really that long. 4 holes aren't long. 5, 6 holes, like, hey, long.
Like the first, when I played
back to the backside,
it was like a forehand to the log. So the first one was like tap in birdie, and the second one I like caged off my second throw and tapped in 3. The third one I threw a B and I made the putt back, and I was like, all right. And then after that, it was like, yeah, you think you're pretty good at disc golf, don't you?
it was funny. I was playing, like I said, with Dave Dunapace, and I was playing one round really, really good. And then I think it was like even through the front 9, coming back to the Coliseum area. I think I birdied 888. I think they had the pin in the up position. So I threw out, and then I tapped in for a 4. And then parred the next one, the downhill with the elevated basket. But then it was like I birdied, like I think I maybe I did. I think I birdied from 888 all the way to 17. Took a 6 on 17 and then birdied 18. I felt it finished under par for the round, but it was, yeah, that was the only time. I think it was like 1 under, but I was like absolutely destroying it. And then I launched 2 11-time Firebirds into the pond on 17. It was crazy because on the walk from 16 to 17, it went from like beautiful day to just rain.
Oh wow! So
yes, dude,
the weather
was
flipped.
like you could see it. So like it, yeah. I mean, it was like you saw it coming in, but it was the walk it moved in so quick, it just started pouring. And then it was like 2 shots OB, layup, throw to the big open, lay up the putt, and then I took like a 6 or a 7. It was a big number.
Come on, baby.
Are you serious?
Get in.
What's your favorite ace
Of mine,
of your career? What is your favorite ace? Where was it? What hole was it?
So 16 at a place I can't name, super private course. Probably one you don't even have never heard of. You may have heard of it, but it's the local course over here.
So it's
and
is it in North Carolina? You can say that.
it's in my county.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. You may or may not heard of it, but it's super hush hush. Probably less than 75 people have played it. Sick course, but 16 double mando, like 6-foot gap, which 35, 40 feet off the tee, gauntlet for about 280, opens up to a field and has like, it's all enclosed with woods, but opens up to a big field and it's still surrounded by woods, but it's like in the woods is this big opening. So it's got a field and grass in the basket. It's about 415. And I hit an ace. And it was like dark. Like it was around, we were just trying to get in and we didn't think we'd finished. And we were like, all right, let's go. And like so it helped out time. We were playing doubles. We were like,
all right, good job,
okay.
good job. Let's keep going. Let's go.
So it was the other team had to finish the hole, like that was it. But like they hit like the first 2 trees, like it's super tough hole. Super tough hole, and just nailed it night, like right at nighttime. So, and then we finished the last 2 holes in complete dark. But it was like you threw it, I threw it. We were like, all right, where's that at? I was like, it went straight, so I think it's good. And then all of a sudden, you just heard ching. So
I think it's real good. Hey, you guys throw it there.
Yeah.
So this upcoming season, do you have any events on the calendar already?
I do. I'm getting married in September.
Oh wow, that's a big.
I've added
That's
a big
bigger than
event to
disc
the
golf
year.
event right there.
Yeah. So that's where, so I kind of have to plan a few things, see what kind of lines up, obviously with the honeymoon, bachelorette party. I think we're doing them together. Just kind of, I got to organize a few other things before I can look at anything major, but I definitely have something on the scope. I may take the first week in October off, second week in October. That kind of drops any hints. Try to get that one in, qualify for something.
We'll just let that sit out there for everybody. Just let it marinate.
Get back out there, you know what I mean? Do it again. But I would love to go up to like Vermont, play the Green Mountain, something like that.
All I gotta say is like sometime in March, there's an event you should come see.
Where's that one?
We can't talk about that. So Jake McCoy, I really appreciate you sitting down talking with me.
Yes,
Is
sir.
there any shout outs you want to give before we wrap this thing up?
Shout out my dad.
Brad McCoy.
Yep.
The original sponsors.
Yeah, I mean he's sponsored by Gateway.
Your dad?
Yeah, early 2000s to like
I didn't know that.
the whole two. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he so far he's still got the highest rating in the family.
Yeah, he's a good
golfer. It was like his highest rating was 1024.
Wow.
Yeah,
he's a good golfer. I believe it. I think I've seen him throw some 1,000 rated rounds.
Definitely. He's rated 930 at this point, but
Hey, so I'm like 13 points away currently.
yeah,
We'll keep working at it. Well, man, thanks for sitting down with me. This
sure.
it was fun. This is my first sit down interview. But
Mine as well.
yeah, first of many for both of us.
Absolutely.
Well, look, thanks, guys. This was Disc Golf David. This is Jake McCoy, PDGA number.
33905.
And check me out for more. Like and subscribe. Thanks, guys, for watching.